From first dates to family dinners, for many Aussies, the local pub, cafe or restaurant is a place where memories are made. But as cost of living pressures bite, many of our favourite neighbourhood institutions are in danger of extinction. For years, hundreds of Adelaide locals would start their day here. Beloved brekkie bar Sheffy Shelby's.
We brought in mums, families, tradies. We knew most of our customers by name, by order. We knew how they wanted their eggs.
But as the cost of living crisis hits both customers and the business,
electricity and rent, our cost of goods, food, coffee, milk, everything went up and average spend per customer diminished.
In April, Michelle was forced to make the toughest of calls.
It honestly felt like playing Mortal Kombat, and it was just hit after hit after hit until finally it was basically fatality. Sadly,
it's a similar story across the country.
People are losing sleep over it, their hearts are breaking. You know, most of these restaurants are small family-owned businesses, they're independent operators. There is so much anguish in the back room trying to balance the books.
A perfect storm of consumer belt-tightening, interest rate rises and increasing operation and food costs behind the surge in restaurant closures, with many saying they make just 60 cents from a $30 plate of food.
Most hospitality businesses have got debts to the ATO, wages, insurance, work cover, you know, everywhere they look, there's another bill to pay.
The problem is so dire, Creditor Watch is predicting 1 in 13 hospitality businesses is expected to fail within the next year. That's around 5,000 restaurants closing their doors forever. Now, a group of top chefs, restaurateurs and industry leaders is pushing for tax concessions and consumer incentives to help their industry survive.
For a country that really prides itself on food culture, I think it's also reasonable to ask government to support something that is so important to our economy, to employment, to the whole supply chain.
But with more beloved Aussie eateries closing their doors every day, for many, it's too late.
I'm not a sore loser. I'm pretty resilient. I do like to think that life is a bit of a game, but hospitality, unfortunately, right now is not a fun game to be in.
We are live from the lands of the Kulin Nation, and Zeth Romanis ran Melbourne restaurant Gauge Bistro for 13 years before finally closing the doors on Saturday. Hey Zeth, we're so sorry, mate. How hard was it to walk away?
It didn't dawn on me until I had a regular customer comes in every Friday night, and then they came in Saturday for the final night, and as they walk out the door and they're saying goodbye, it really hit. Oh, I'm actually, you know, the venue's closing. It's been a very exciting week. Heaps of people have come in to say goodbye, so I'm leaving the business sort of a bittersweet way with really fond memories of the final week. But you're busy cleaning up and just doing these final things in the business. So maintaining my business is probably keeping a little bit of sanity for me.
Zeth, what was the decision-making process for making that hard call to close?
Matt, it's the last couple of years have been, I guess, very hard. There's no one particular thing. Ultimately, a business is driven by the bottom line. You can have awards, your customers can tell you things fantastic, but if the bottom line's not working, then ultimately at some stage you have to say enough's enough. And obviously COVID, everyone talks about COVID. We were a fairly fortunate business that we had a coffee trade as well in the morning. So we had 400 customers that we could directly speak to in terms of bringing business in. So COVID was a success for us as a business. But coming out of COVID, a lot of enthusiasm, things are opening up. We invested some more money in the business to drive it without really seeing the things that occurred. So the difficulty of staff, that was probably the primary one. Increased costs. There's a number of factors. You can't put your finger on one particular one. There's just a number of factors that drive it, and ultimately all those variables then push to a decision the difficult decision to make to close the doors.
So do you think this is just a moment, like, you know, really hard circumstances that you just can't see your way through? Or do you see this as an enduring change in hospitality and culturally for us going out to eat?
I think at the moment the burden of the last couple of years has probably been the fact that the people that I have coming in enjoy it, but then I have some customers say, well, we're in a fairly affluent area, and they go, the mortgage rates have changed it so they can't spend near as much. So I don't think hospitality's all doom and gloom, but definitely for me personally to sort of take the break and perhaps then invest more time in the family, just reboot.
Yeah, look, we know you've put your blood, sweat and tears into that restaurant, and we appreciate you talking to us on what's been a really gutting day for you, Zeth. Thanks for your time.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much for reaching out.
Pretty handy to have you here for that.
Magic and lucky. Yeah. Look, it's that simple idea. It's always been hard to operate restaurants. It's always been hard to make a profit. It's always been hard to find good staff. It's always been hard to deal with economic downturns. But we've also got this strange situation where the number of restaurants in Australia have been growing, whether from chains or from other operators opening up. So this is this awful perfect storm.
It's more competition.
So more competition for the same staff. So you've got all this happening at the same time, and it's a very simple rule. And we said it during COVID, and we say it now: if you love it, use it, or you'll lose it. If you love somewhere, go there, and don't get and walk and have dinner there. Don't order it on takeaway. Help them. Embrace them, have your birthday out. But
I wonder how much actually Uber Eats and those food delivery services have impacted restaurants as well, because I've got to say, I'm boring, but I never go out.
Yeah, well, and I think looking at my kids, they're on the apps. They're not, the older one, yes, in the pub, great place where Sam goes for a meal. It's great, but there's so much competition.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah wasn't talking about food. She just never goes out.
Oh,
It was
I'm boring.
Looking for someone to have dinner with. Oh, let's go.
Yeah.